Hello. Welcome to your weekly live on mesmerizing messaging. I had such a great research call this morning. If you're not doing research calls, highly recommend them. You learn so much absolutely essential information about your ideal clients, what they're wanting less of, and how you specifically might be able to help them. So I just wanted to mention that because I am just off the back of a research call, remembering just how invaluable they are. So if you're not doing them, do them. Do them. So today's live is on the topic of storytelling and the three essential whys for effective storytelling. Now I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We are only sending this to people who signed up for the Claiming Your Gifts and Your Sensitivity webinar. Except for tomorrow, we are going to send out one email. One. We're not going to be sharing the link in this group. I'm not going to be posting graphics or any information in this group. I am saying it now out loud. I will say it again at the end of this session, and we will send one email tomorrow. So if you're not on my mailing list, get on it. You go to www.katewolf.global/fear and you will be on my mailing list. Because tomorrow we are going to let you, if you are on my mailing list, know about a flash sale that we are having for the Storytelling Summer School. So not only will you be getting a super special financial deal, but you'll be able to get it in your calendar ahead of time, clear space for it. It's not happening until August. So you'll have plenty of time to make time for it if you get in now and you make that decision. So if you're not on my mailing list, get on my mailing list. And we'll put the link for that below this video. So the three essential whys for effective storytelling. So unless you've been living under a bushel for the last probably coming on 5-ish years now, you'll know that storytelling is a massive trend in business. And I am sort of naturally averse to most trends, but storytelling, now that is one I'm willing to get on board with because it's so much deeper than a trend. We as humans have been sitting around the fire telling stories since the dawn of time, right? Or since humans arrived. Since the dawn of humanity, let's say that. And it's how we connect. Stories are how we connect. I often hear people telling me when I talk about storytelling that they are not a natural storyteller. Ironically enough, that's a story in itself, right? We're all natural storytellers. We're all telling stories all day long. All day long. Stories about what's possible. Stories about who we think we are. Stories about how much we think we're allowed. Stories about what he said, what she said, what they thought about this thing that the other person said. Stories, stories, stories. The only question is, are you using that creative ability for good or for self-flagellation? I recommend you use it for good. And one of the ways you can use it for good in your business is to be telling these three stories, the three why stories, in your marketing and in your selling. And this is one of the hows of how to make marketing and selling a part of your healing work in the world instead of a separate but necessary evil, which is how a lot of people think about marketing when they initially find me. They're like, oh God, I love my work, I love my healing work, I love my coaching work, I love holding space, I love facilitating. Marketing, selling, ugh, do I have to? First of all, yes, you do have to. And secondly, marketing and selling are not the problem. The problem is the story of what you've made them mean. That you have to do it a certain way, that you have to say certain things in a certain way, instead of allowing marketing and selling to be an extension of your healing work in this world, an extension of the work that you do here, a way to connect with people, right? If you don't like connecting with people, you're in the wrong job. That's all marketing and selling is. It's about connecting really deeply and really profoundly with people in a way that most people spend their entire lives never doing. Listening with people and asking them about their frustrations and things they wish were different, and their hopes and their dreams and their desires, and in each direction the challenges and the desires, going deeper, asking more and more curious questions, being authentically curious about the human being in front of you and the world that they live in and the world that they are. Putting aside your assumptions, putting down your I know mantle, and listening. I love marketing and sales. I love them because they are opportunities to connect with human beings and learn. And the more I learn, the more I listen, the more I learn, the more I really learn, right? Not in a surface level, oh, you said this, now I'm gonna use your language and make a post about it. That is important also, using their language, but that's just a tactic, right? It goes so much deeper that in terms of really understanding what is stopping people from having what they say they want. Truly, what's really going on and what helps. And when you do that, not only do you get very good at marketing and sales and therefore bringing in the cash flow, you get better at your work. So much better at your work because you've listened. You've cared enough to listen and adapt and put down your I know and pick up your I don't know and learn more. You get better at your work. So, as part of your marketing and selling, storytelling is one of the really powerful ways to be creating connection. And there are many, many, many stories you can be telling. I cover many of these in Story School. I cover many of these in the studio, which is my content creation membership, and voice membership. And the ones that we're going to talk about today are the 3 whys. So the first why is simply why, right? It's the vision story. The story of your vision, the story of why you're doing what you're doing. And to go a little bit deeper into this, I'm actually going to read to you from this book, Start With Why by Simon Sinek, because he describes the power of why so clearly in his book, labeled Start With Why, right? He's a fan of starting with why. I'm a fan of leading with why. Leading with it, leading with vision, leading with shared values, leading with the world you see as possible, that your work is playing its part in creating as more likely, and bringing in audience, clients who want that world too. Big, big, big proponent of leading with vision, leading with why, right? Those two words are interchangeable in the world of business marketing. So these are Simon Sinek's words, and he says, the goal was ambitious, public interest was high, experts were eager to contribute, money was readily available. Armed with every ingredient for success, Samuel Pierpont Langley set out in the early 1900s to be the first man to pilot an airplane. Highly regarded, he was a senior officer at the Smithsonian Institution, a mathematics professor who had also worked at Harvard. His friends included some of the most powerful men in government and business, including Andrew Carnegie and Alexander Graham Bell. Langley was given a $50,000 grant from the War Department to fund his project, a tremendous amount of money for the time. He pulled together the best minds of the day, a verifiable dream team of talent and know-how. Langley and his team used the finest materials, and the press followed him everywhere. People all over the country were riveted, waiting to read that he had achieved his goal. With the team he had gathered and ample resources, his success was guaranteed. Or was it? A few hundred miles away, Wilbur and Orville Wright were working on their own flying machine. Their passion to fly was so intense that it inspired the enthusiasm and commitment of a dedicated group in their hometown of Dayton, Ohio. There was no funding for their venture, no government grants, no high-level connections. Not a single person on the team had an advanced degree or even a college education, not even Wilbur or Orville. But the team banded together in a humble bicycle shop and made their vision real. On December 17, 1903, a small group witnessed a man take flight for the first time in history. How did the Wright brothers succeed where a better equipped, better funded, and better educated team could not? It wasn't luck. Both the Wright brothers and Langley were highly motivated. Both had a strong work ethic. Both had keen scientific minds. They were pursuing exactly the same goal, but only the Wright brothers were able to inspire those around them and truly lead their team to develop a technology that would change the world. Only the Wright brothers started with why. This is the power of why to inspire others, right? To inspire people to join your movement, want to be a part of what you're up to, give their time, invest their money, to be a part of what you're up to. This vision that the Wright brothers had, right? We know their names. We don't know the name of this Langley guy. We know the Wright brothers. They made history because of the strength of their vision to fly and their ability to communicate that to those around them, versus Langley, whose ambition was more about being famous, right? Achieving fame. And so when you are thinking about using why in your marketing, go either deeper or above all the time. Like, why does this matter? Why should anyone care? What does that then make possible in our world? What does that then make possible? Right? And use that language of possibility and vision to enroll people in your dream. So then there is the why you story. The why you story, again, that's what it says on the tin, is about why are you the individual to be doing what you're doing? Why are you the person to be doing what you're doing? And that other people should pay, right, to receive, learning from, experiences with, healing from, information from. Why are you the person? Now, How a lot of people go wrong in this scenario is they tell their audience, their prospective clients, all about all of their credentials and their qualifications and their trainings and their titles. And it's very, very boring. Nobody cares. What's that great famous quote? Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. The care is communicated in a why. Right? Now we need to get them absolutely certain that you are the guide for them. And this is best done through a why you story. So whatever it is that your clients are going through, you need to be sharing your story of how you really get it, right? Not by saying, I get it, but by effectively crafting a story that communicates to the right person, oh wow, they've been where I've been. They have felt what I have felt. They have learned how to navigate this problem, and they have found a way through. And I want that person as a guide. And you can communicate that through powerful storytelling. So again, something that I see people do in a way which I think undermines some of the power of storytelling in this scenario is they do the sort of before and after story, right? I was crying on the bathroom floor and now I'm a millionaire. And they leave out the messy middle, which is where all the learnings are, and the growth, and the communication of your ability to be with pain, be with not knowing, be with uncertainty, be with shame, be with grief, right? We've got to a place in the evolution of people where there are people now for whom the magic pill story or the before and after story or the rags to riches story without the messy middle shared is not enough. People want to know more. They want to know how you did it, how you navigated those rocky parts of the life path that we've all had. And they actually serve as credibility. So the more you can share the details, right, and the learnings along the way, effectively through storytelling, finding the right balance so that you're not tipping over into TMI, right, too much information, making sure you're holding yourself, so you're not asking your audience to be your therapists, right? Facebook is not your therapist, but sharing enough to let them in, let them see you, and let them see you as someone with earned authority. So that is this why you story. We go into that in depth in Story School. It's an entire process that I take you through, which I crafted to reveal that story and then to craft it in a way that speaks to the exact right people. So you're bringing in the right people to your work. And then the third why is why now? Why now? Now, obviously, this needs to be done with integrity. When you're selling, for some people, it will be not now, right? Not now. Now is not the time. But for those for whom it is the right time, it's important you take a stand for them because you can see stuff they can't. You know what they dream of is possible. They might not yet be able to fully believe that. So it is important that you take a stand for them, that you believe in them, perhaps before they believe in themselves. And this is the power of a why now story. And you can use the why now story to overcome objections of concerns about money, overcome objections about concerns about time, not by some of the more perhaps tactical objection overcoming things, but by sharing your perspective on what's really going on. Right? What's really going on? What are the ways that you know your ideal client gets in their own way? So, for example, I know that one of the tendencies my ideal clients have, and these are people that I love and people whose magic I see beaming out of them, and who I, not all of them, but so if it's correct for their life path, I see them standing on stages, giving talks to thousands, I see them as published authors. This is one of my vision skills, is seeing what's possible for people. And so when I get to the stage of making offers, I absolutely will start talking about the ways I know my ideal clients get in their own way, at that point where bravery is required to step in. And one of those ways is the comparisonitis, right? The looking around. Oh goodness, she's more eloquent than me, or she's more trained in this than me, or all those, more this than me. And so I'll deliberately speak to that at the point of sale, and I'll speak about other clients who had those concerns and what is possible, what's true for them and therefore possible for the person considering it now, right? It's again, it's understanding the power of the story we tell ourselves, because that comparisonitis stuff is it's just another story. It's an example of using story for self-flagellation. So I will use my understanding of story and my understanding of how stories form us, and then we in turn then form stories, right? Culture is formed by stories, and then stories form culture. And if we want to change culture, we have to tell better stories. So everything for me comes down to stories. What stories are we telling? And are they good ones? Are they ones we want and choose to continue to tell? So, on a very practical basis with the why now stories, you can also tell stories about, bonuses, right, that you're including, fast action bonuses or pay in full bonuses or early bird bonuses, and the story of why they're useful, why they're valuable, why they should be the thing that has your ideal client kind of step over that indecision line. And this is my favorite why now story, is to tie it back in to vision. So if you think about the flow of a webinar, let's go with a webinar. At the flow of a webinar, you might start off by bringing in your why, right? The world you dream of, what you're doing it all for. And then, tell people what's coming so they know what they're there for, all of that kind of grounding, really essential safety stuff. So people can feel safe, feel in the right place, be calm, be listening, be open. And then you might share your why you story, right? Why you're doing the work you're doing. Again, this can be done very badly. Don't take 20 minutes to talk about yourself. But make sure that you're telling the correct story that ties in exactly with what you're teaching on. And then you share, you do your content, etc. And then you're going to use some of the why now stories as you come towards the point of sale, right? Or you might choose to place those throughout your content. And then at the end, when you're bringing in the sale, the invitation, right, the opportunity to work with you, you can tie it back in with a really powerful why now story, back to vision, back to why this is important, back to like whatever you're going through now, however scary this feels, however unfamiliar this feels, however much doubt you have. This is where we're going, right? This is why this is important. And it brings it back, that decision about, do I step into this course? Do I step in, if it's a one-to-one program, do I hire this person as my coach? It helps to direct their thinking to what the decision is actually about. Because often people will go into like, oh, the decision is, am I spending £3,000? The decision is never, am I spending £3,000? The decision is what this person is offering of equal value or more than an investment right now of £3,000? It's very different. And it's very important that in your role as service provider, you are making sure that when you're sitting with a person in that sacred moment of perhaps about to be making a decision that changes the trajectory of their life, right? It's a sacred moment that you make sure you're doing yourself justice, the work justice, and the person in front of you justice by ensuring that they are focused on the correct decision, which is always much, much, much bigger than, am I about to spend this amount of money? So these are the 3 whys. Why? Big vision. Why you? What is it about you in your life, your experiences, that make you the ideal guide? And why now? Why should they be stepping in now if it's correct? We're going to be going into all of these, how to find them, source them, how to craft them in a way that's engaging, compelling, engages the senses, engages the emotions. I bring in my decade of experience in the theatre in order to make sure that you are going to be moving your audience powerfully, emotionally, and into action. Hopefully that action is getting out their credit card and deciding to work with you if it's correct. In Story School in the summer. So we're doing a summer version of Story School, Storytelling Summer School. It's going to be over 10 days at lunchtime. So we're going to get together and write. And you're going to get my feedback, you're going to get my eyes on your story, we're going to finish with a big story show. It's going to be super fun and immensely valuable so that you can be showing up in the world with your stories of why you're doing what you're doing, why you're doing what you're doing, and why people should be stepping in to work with you now to get that cash flow flowing and you doing more of what you love, more of the actual work. So as I said at the beginning, we're not going to be sharing about this offer. We've got a brilliant offer on at the moment, little flash sale for the Storytelling Summer School. We're not going to be sharing about it in the Facebook group. I'm only speaking it aloud now and letting you know that if you want access to Storytelling Summer School at the flash sale investment, then you need to make sure you're signed up to my mailing list. Okay, so the link is below in the comments. Make sure you're signed up today because we'll be sending out the invitation, the flash sale to Storytelling Summer School tomorrow. Okay, so how are we doing for time? 12:34. Great. I have got my Share the Magic Inside call at 1. So I'm just going to pop in, see if there are any questions. Diane, I hope you found us. I see your question. And hooray, yes, you found it. Wonderful. Let me know if you have any questions. And those of you watching the replay, hello, lovely to see you. Let me know as well if you have any questions. And again, make sure you're signed up at my mailing list. You'll receive the weekly Wild Voice missive where you get to hear sumptuous, moving, enlivening, reminding of how magical we all are voices. Mostly mine, and from time to time my Wild Voice clients. And also you will get access to the special price for the Storytelling Summer School. So go to www.katewolf.global/Fia and we'll make sure you receive that. All right, lots of love and bye for now.